Hello, econ class. Sorry that I wasn't able to be there today. As I mentioned all week, I am on a psychology field trip with my AP Psych class. So you guys get a little bit of video notes today. It's not really notes. So video instruction, I should say, and some activities to do. So first off, you guys had this warm-up today. I will go over the warm-up with you next week on day 1 next week, but please make sure that you guys have already gone through as a group and figured out if it's a right shift, left shift, or change in quantity supplied for airline travel. What I want to talk about today, though, is that I'm going to talk about the reminder of index card activity and what you need to do for that. And then you are going to have homework. Yes, I know, homework over the weekend. Get your groaning out of the way now. Okay, don't freak out because it's not a big deal. It is just like our predicting demand worksheet. It's just now predicting supply. So same idea as before. You're going to have to give me a factor. You're going to have to show me a graph. And you're going to have to circle a prediction that an economist would make. Not a big deal. Just make sure you do it. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about in this video, though. I want to talk about index card activity. So by now, you should have gotten a paper out, and if you haven't, make sure you get a paper out now that is not part of your notes, because you will be turning it in. Right at the top of your paper, one thing that can be sold, and then you're going to partner up with somebody else in the room. It does not have to be somebody in your group, and I want you to put your name and your partner's name on your paper. If you want to partner up with the same person you did the demand index card activity for, go for it. If you don't, that's fine. Okay? Now, what you're going to do from there is you're going to get a set of index cards from the sub. So there is a set of index cards out there. Then you're going to have 7 cards. You're going to have 1 for each of the 6 factors that cause a change in supply and 1 change in quantity supply. So then what you're going to do is that you are going to find a nice spot around the room with you and your partner. And you are then going to tell your partner what is the item on your paper. Okay? So for example, you are then going to go and have one person pick a card. So for example, if I go and pick a card, okay, I'm not going to show my partner what is on this card, but I'm going to use it as an example for the item on their paper. Okay, so for example, if my partner had iPads as their item and I drew the card that said cost of inputs, okay, I might tell them the price of microchips increases. They're going to write that on their paper, price of microchips increases. And then, just like last time, they're going to have to figure out what factor it is, so what's on that card without me telling them. So they're going to figure out, oh, it's cost of inputs. And then they're going to draw the graph for the supply of iPads, and they're going to show what happens to the supply curve for iPads. In this case, the supply curve for iPads is going to shift to the left, right? So for each example, after then you're going to switch back and forth. You should then make sure that you write down the example your partner gives you, figure out what factor it is without your partner telling you, and draw a small graph illustrating what happens to the demand curve. Okay. You should switch back and forth until you have 5 examples. Just like with demand, okay, there are 7 cards. So you're going to have to go through the stack more than once so that you each have 5 examples. Okay. Now, because you've done this for demand, it will go a little bit faster for supply just because you know the process, but you're going to have to sit and figure out the examples. Okay. Make sure you use your changes in supply chart that we finished yesterday. Okay? Now, after you and your partner are finished, turn it into the sub. Sub will keep those together. Okay? And then I want you to go to Canvas, and I want you to pull up a title of the article called Dairy Farm Article. Okay? And then with your partner, you're going to answer the questions on Canvas below that about the article about dairy farms. So just as a quick review of where you can find it, if you go on Canvas, go under Economics, go under Supply, and you're going to scroll down to, it says In-Class Materials, and then it's going to say Dairy Farm Article. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. It says dairy farm article. You're going to go under dairy farm article. And it's going to be actually specifically about Connecticut, but it is actually interesting about the difference between Connecticut dairy farms. So it's going to be an article about Connecticut dairy farms. Underneath that, okay, so underneath that article, you are going to, or so underneath that on Canvas, you are going to find, yeah, hold on. Okay, underneath that, you're going to find where it says dairy farm article questions. Okay, and these are the 5 questions that you need to answer. You're going to answer it on one paper with your partner. Again, turn it in just like last time. You're going to turn it in, and I will go through it. I will read through it, and next week I will give you back both your index card activity and the article questions, and you will be able to make corrections. Okay, so index card activity first. Dairy farm article questions second. Okay, if you have that finished, when you have that finished, if you finish early, I do have a little bit of notes for you guys to do. If not, then we'll just deal with that next week. You do have a homework assignment that's called Predicting Supply. Do not forget it. All right, hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.